Very good morning, dear students. Today we are going to discuss the next topic of module number 4 of Environmental Microbiology, that is the distribution of microorganisms in aquatic environment. We are having fresh water, Estuarine and marine water. That is what mentioned in your syllabus. So today we are going to discuss the distribution of microorganisms in both freshwater and Estuarine. And as you all know, the microorganisms are present in all the depth of the aquatic ecosystem, where it present from the top to bottom, okay, from the surface to bottom. And the microbial flora that is commonly present in the surface region of aquatic ecosystem are commonly known as plankton. Okay, so plankton may be defined as which is a collection of the floating and drifting microbial life in the surface region of aquatic ecosystem. And this plankton can be classified into two groups. Number one, phytoplankton. Next one, zooplankton. So phytoplanktons are the photosynthetic algae and cyanobacteria, which are photosynthetic organisms, which are phototrophic organisms. They perform the photosynthesis process and they present in the top layer in the ecosystem. And they are, as we have discussed in the previous topic, they are known as the primary producers. Then another important one is the zooplankton, where this is also present in the same ecosystem. They are non-photosynthetic organisms, mainly protozoa and some other lower microscopic animal life. They generally feed this phytoplankton and they are non-photosynthetic organisms and they are the primary consumers. And these organisms are the common type of plankton in the aquatic ecosystem. And another organism is known as benthos or benthic population. This is commonly present in the bottom of aquatic ecosystem. They are the microbial inhabitants in the bottom of the aquatic ecosystem. So such a kind of organisms are known as benthos or benthic populations. And the distribution of microorganism is commonly available based on several factors in a freshwater ecosystem, such as sunlight, as I told, based on the penetration of the sunlight. The aquatic ecosystems are known as the photic zone and aphotic zone. Then similarly the wind, the tide, okay, there are different regions called intertidal zone. Okay, so current and nutrients, the availability of the nutrients and the ingestion of a higher form of organism. So these are the major factors which influences the presence of microorganism in the freshwater ecosystem. And among these, the benthic zone, that is commonly known as the richest region of aquatic system in terms of the number and kind of microorganism. In the aquatic ecosystem, the benthic regions are the region where you will be able to find the maximum variety and kind of microorganisms. And this we have already discussed. There are 5 different zones are present in the freshwater ecosystem. They are littoral zone, limnatic zone, euphotic zone and profoundal zone and benthic zone. Okay, so littoral zone is the area of shallow water near the shore where light penetrated to the bottom, where maximum light penetration is available, and that is commonly present in the near the shore and the light penetrated till the bottom. That is known as littoral zone. And the limnatic zone, this is little bit away from the littoral zone, where the sunlight away from the shore and that has several microorganisms such as algae and cyanobacteria. Okay, so that is known as a limnatic zone. Then the next one is the euphotic zone or epilimnion. Okay, epilimnion or warm water region. Okay, so the upper portion of the limnatic zone near the surface of water. Okay, the upper portion of the limnatic zone near the surface of the water which receives the sunlight. Okay, which receives the sunlight and ends where the sunlight fails to penetrate the water. Okay, the ends with where the sunlight fails to penetrate the water. And the next one is a profoundal zone or hypolimnion. Okay, or cold water region. Then below the euphotic zone where the thermocline where the sunlight doesn't penetrate. Okay, the profoundal zone is the below the euphotic zone where the sunlight doesn't penetrate. Okay, then the last one is the benthic zone, that is the bottom of aquatic ecosystem or lake or pond, that consisting of the sediments and soil, where this considered as the digestive system of the pond and the lake. Okay, and this is where the bacteria, fungi, actinomyces, etc. decompose the complex material of plants, animals and other microorganisms and the fish of the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, so these are the different zones of aquatic ecosystem. So this is the pictorial representation. We can see here this area where the sunlight penetrates maximum to the shore, where maximum the photosynthetic the lower plants are present, that is known as the littoral zone. Okay, and this is the limnatic zone where the top region, that is away from the littoral zone, where the light penetrates maximum, and this region where the light penetration is very less, that is known as a profoundal zone. Okay, and the bottom region, this region you can call it as the benthic region. And based on the light penetration, you will be able to see that is photic zone and aphotic zone. Photic zones are the region in which the light penetrates maximum, and aphotic regions are the region in which the light penetration is reduced or decreased. From top to bottom, this light penetration will be decreased. Okay, so that particular areas are known as the aphotic zone. And depending on the temperature range, so this is the area in which maximum temperature in the water system, that is the warm region, that is known as the epilimnion. Okay, and then the bottom, that is the cold water where the temperature is very less, that is very cold, that is known as a hypolimnion. And you will be having a middle part between the epilimnion and hypolimnion, that is known as a thermocline. Okay, this thermocline is the intermediate zone. Okay, neither too warm or neither too cold. Okay, or too cold. Okay, so that is the important aspects. Then in the case of this distribution of microorganism in aquatic ecosystem, mainly the freshwater ecosystem, the littoral and limnatic zone has the maximum heterotrophic bacteria and other organisms. Okay, the maximum heterotrophic organism, they are able to utilize carbon, the organic compounds as their source of the carbon, and the greater varieties of the microorganism, this constitute the greater varieties of the microorganism. And this littoral and limnatic zones are known as the most productive region in the based on the seasonable influence. Okay, and this productivity mainly affected in terms of the chemical characteristics of the lake or pond. Okay, and the bottom region, there you will be having the anaerobic decomposing organism. They are mainly anaerobe, the methanogenic organisms. Okay, then the methanosarcina, methanococcus, methanobacteria, desulfovibrio, etc. will be commonly present. And in the case of seasonable influence, in the case of summer, the lake and pond, the top layer of the lake and pond in the case of summer season, that will be considered as the warm due to the penetration of the sunlight. Okay, and then because of this one and this property, and that will become dense than the lower region, and the lower region it will be cold and the top region will be warm. Okay, but in the case of winter, the top region will be cold because of the formation of the ice on the surface. Okay, and the lower region will be little bit warm. Okay, so compared to the top region, the lower region will be little bit warm. So this is the seasonable variation. Okay, and in these two seasons, summer, winter, there is no mixing of water will takes place between the top and bottom. Okay, and the mixing of water is the most important parameter that affects the distribution of the microorganism. The top microorganism will be shifted to the bottom, and bottom microorganism will be shifted to the top due to the recirculation of this particular process. Okay, and there will not be any mixing of water during this particular season, especially in winter and the summer. And the mixing of water is taking place in such ecosystems are known as the stratification process. And is another important aspect. Then here you can see a figure. This is the aquatic ecosystem. Some region you can see there is a color variation you can see actually. Okay, so there is a yellow in color, and some regions are a light yellow in color, and this you can see there is a variation, and there is a flow characteristics you can see. This is nothing but the specific type of algae. Okay, and this is the example of something called as algal bloom. Okay, then I told during winter and summer there will not be having any type of mixing, but in the case of spring and fall, what will happen? The mixing of upper and lower layers will happen, and there will be the massive growth of the algae will take place. The mixing, the region, the bottom region will be mixed with the top region of the water from the top regions will be bottom will be flown to the top, and it will be mixed with the top region, and due to there will be the nutrient overflow is also happening from the top to the bottom. When it is happening through the bottom forces, what is happening? The nutrients is migrated to the top, and that will be allowing the rapid and massive growth of algae, and this is known as the bloom. Okay, and this is very dangerous, and this algal bloom can dangerous to the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, in terms of various one example is all this aquatic blooms algae can produce toxin. They will be produce the powerful toxin. That toxin will be kill the thousands of aquatic organisms, especially fish and all those things. You can see sometimes the fish and everything will be floated on the surface where such kind of blooms are commonly present, and this toxin either can be extracellular or intracellular toxin. Okay, then such kind of an example of algae that produces the toxins are dinoflagellates. Okay, Gymnodium and goniolax. Okay, these are the two dinoflagellates that commonly produces the toxin. The toxins are powerful neurotoxin that will be adversely affecting the other organisms. So this is the concept called algal bloom. Then this we have already discussed in the previous class. This is another important parameter, the condition called eutrophic condition and oligotrophic condition in the freshwater ecosystem. In the case of eutrophic condition, there will be over accumulation of the nutrients as we have discussed in the previous class. Okay, especially nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay, then the over enrichment of the nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. So due to this particular process, what will happen? There will be the massive accumulation of algal growth will be taking place. Okay, and this like one type of bloom like this. Okay, that is known as the eutrophication, and this condition is known as the eutrophic condition. So here the first case, the eutrophication is due to the enrichment of nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus. But in the case of the just reverse case, sometimes there will be the lower nutrients concentration will be taking place, that leads to the poor microbial growth in the aquatic ecosystem. Okay, and that property is known as oligotrophic trophication, oligotrophism. Okay, and the condition is known as oligotrophic condition. So oligotrophic condition, in which the condition that has the low nutrient level in the aquatic ecosystem, that leads to the poor growth of the microorganisms. And this is the microbial distribution in aquatic ecosystem. So this is the littoral zone. There you can see the lot of plants. Okay, and this plant has the root, and this root has lot of bacteria. Okay, and that you can see. And this is the littoral zone, and this particular region, the limnatic zone. From the top, the sunlight, the penetration is maximum. In the case of littoral zone, it will reach, the sunlight will be reached till the bottom of the aquatic body. Okay, and this is the littoral zone, and here it is the limnatic zone. In the case of littoral zone and limnatic zone, the major organisms are the coliforms or algae, cyanobacteria and pseudomonas, and colobacter. Okay, these are the major organisms that can be present in this particular region. Then just bottom, the profoundal region, there you can see there the light penetration is very less, photosynthetic activity is very less. Okay, and the nutrient content is also varies. Okay, and the primary productivity will be less. In that particular case, the purple sulfur and green sulfur bacteria can be commonly present in this particular region. Okay, and the next region you can see the bottom, where the decomposers such as fungi, actinomyces and bacteria can be present, especially bacteria such as methanogenic bacteria, okay, acetogenic bacteria, fermentative bacteria, all those organisms can be present. Okay, so that is the organisms such as D-sulfovibrio, D-sulfomaculum, okay, and Methanosarcina and Methanoototrophicum, okay, Methanococcus, all those organisms can be present in this particular ecosystem. And in the case of stream and river, the stream and river, unlike the fresh lake and pond, in the case of this stream and river, you can see the nutrients arises from the surrounding terrestrial ecosystem. Okay, so the aquatic microorganism that is commonly released from the terrestrial ecosystem, and this aquatic microorganism reflects the terrestrial condition. So the aquatic microorganism that resembles the factors that is responsible for a terrestrial growth. So the main effect of the domestic practices, agricultural practices and industrial practices, due to all those things, because especially the waste dumping will be leads to the lot of domestic agricultural and industrial microorganism to the aquatic ecosystem. And main importantly, the urbanization and industrialization also contribute lot of organism, because the waste material that is coming from all those human man-made activities can reached into the streams and river. So the microorganisms are also reached from the this particular system. So a lot of soil-based microorganism we can expect in this particular region. And in the case of usury, how the microorganisms are present in the case of usuries. Okay, and in the case of usuries, the environment is highly changeable, because I told you this is a transition zone between a marine environment and a fresh environment. It's a mixture of it get the water from both the freshwater ecosystem and the marine environment. So there will be a mixing of the bacterial population also will happen. Okay, so there will be lot of factors such as the temperature, the salinity and the nutrient content, the nutrient load, etc. will be playing a very vital role, and there will be a fluctuation of this condition will be also leads to the alteration or the variation in the microbial population. And the microorganisms are mainly indigenous population. That means to say the microorganisms are resided from a particular environment, either in the freshwater or in the marine ecosystem, that is indigenous populations. Okay, and but sometimes it arises from the domestic industrial agricultural practice, as I said the previous case also, and they are the transient microorganism. So this usually has mainly consisting of, you are having the main important organisms are bacteria, then you are having the viruses, okay, then you are having the fungi, okay. Then the bacteria are three types. One is coliform, normal coliform. They are gram-negative, non-sporulating, facultative, anaerobic, rod-shaped, motile or non-motile bacteria. Okay. Excellent example is a coliform. We will discuss in the subsequent topic. They are known as indicator microorganism. Then the next organisms are the organisms are the next type of bacteria are the appendaged bacteria. The next one is the soil bacteria. Okay. Then in addition to coliform, there will be having Aeromonas, then the Bacillus, Proteus, Clostridium, then Spirotillus, okay, Begiotawa, and Thiotrix and Thiobacillus. So these are sulfur oxidizing bacteria are also common in the case of this Eucharis, because Eucharis has the low intermediate salt concentration, that is the maximum, the most richest nutritional source among fresh water and marine water and brackish water. So these Eucharis are a typical brackish water system. So they have a high amount of nutrient. So both aerobic and anaerobic microorganisms are also present. Okay. Then there are intestinal viruses such as hepatitis type A can be commonly present, and poliomyelitis virus is also commonly present. And you will be having bacteriophages as well. The virus that specifically infect the bacteria are known as bacteriophages. The phages are also commonly present. Then you are having the appendaged bacteria, special type of bacterial classification such as Hypomicrobium, Colobacter and Gallionella. Okay, Gallionella, Colobacter and Hypomicrobium. So these are the appendaged bacteria commonly present in the Eucharis. Then the soil bacteria, that is such as Azotobacter, Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. Okay, these Nitrobacter, Nitrosomonas and Azotobacters are commonly present in the Eucharis. Okay, so as these organisms, as you all know, they are nitrogen fixing organisms. Similarly, the fungi such as Ascomyces, that is mainly Penicillium, Aspergillus, Cladosporium, Cephalosporium, Helminthosporium, Geotrichum, all those organisms. Okay. Then you are having Zygomyces or Phycomyces such as Rhizopus, Mucor, all such a kind of organism you can see. Then the next one is Basidiomyces are commonly absent in the case of this Eucharis, but Deuteromyces such as fungi imperfecti are commonly present because they doesn't have a proper sexual stage of cell division. Okay, that is why it is known as fungi imperfecti. Okay, so these organisms are also commonly present. So this is all about today's class. So we can the distribution of microorganisms commonly present in the aquatic ecosystem. So we can conclude the distribution of microorganisms in various aquatic systems we have discussed, that depending on several factors and the kind and number of microorganisms that varies throughout the freshwater and brackish water ecosystem. And the organism microbial content, that is the common microbial content that is present in the surface of the surface of the aquatic ecosystem are known as plankton. They are phytoplankton and zooplankton. So they are primary producers and primary consumers. Photosynthetic organism, non-photosynthetic organism. Okay. Then the common another type of organism is the organism that is commonly present in the bottom of the aquatic ecosystem, the benthic population or benthos. Okay. Then the next topic we have discussed, the microbial population in the freshwater ecosystem. There we have seen the major factors which influences the microbial that such kind of ecosystem. The major zones, okay, the littoral zone, limnatic zone, profoundal zone and the benthic zone. Okay, and what are the influences of the seasonable variation? What will happen in the case of how stratification, especially the winter and summer season, how it will be influences, and how mixing of water will take place, and how blooms of algae will be produced. And this is the another important factor called eutrophication and oligotrophication. Eutrophic and oligotrophic condition commonly influences the organism. And the microbial distribution, the stream and rivers are also we have discussed how the microorganisms is distributed, because since that is obtained from the terrestrial ecosystem, that depending on the domestic, agricultural and industrial practices, okay, then the microbial distribution in the brackish water system usually is, okay. There's a very varieties of concept you will be microorganism you will be able to see. Bacteria, you can see coliforms, appendageid bacteria and soil bacteria. You will be having viruses, and you will be having the fungi also, okay. This is all about the distribution of microorganism in aquatic environment of fresh and brackish water environment. And these are the references, especially principles and exploration of microbiology, that is Jacqueline Black, you can refer, and Pelzar, microbiology concepts and application also you can refer. And this is an excellent example of an algal bloom. This is the brackish water system. Here you can see a deep ocean. Here you can see a freshwater system, and that is mixing here, okay. And you can see how the mixing that leads to the coloration, algal formation, complete bloom formation. You can see here, you can, that is floating throughout the water, and that leads to the eutrophication as well as algal bloom, okay. So that is the message of today's class. So thank you very much for watching this class, okay. If you are having any doubts or any clarification, you can ask me, okay. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.